Now, as my regular viewers know, I am a total Transformer geek. There are very, very few other geekdoms I fall into. And because of that, I'm used to getting a lot of Transformer questions. Seldom do I get anything else, except for today. Apparently, being any kind of popular geek whatsoever means you have to talk on things that are just too big for any geekdom to avoid. That being said, I'm not breaking any news when I tell you Marvel is now owned by Disney. And God, how many things I have gotten in the last day just since this was announced. And it's all doom and gloom and paranoia, and it's just rampant. It's just out of control. So I'm going to give my opinion. So if anyone else asks, I point to this video from now on. And more importantly, I'm going to get this right off the bat right away. If you think that Marvel is going to get toned down and characters like Deadpool and Punisher are going away because they're too violent to be part of the Disney umbrella, yeah, calm down. Okay? I mean, there's no reason to hit the panic button over it until they actually do it. Until then, you're just freaking yourself out. And for anyone who thinks that that's the only way it can go, I mean, take a look at everything else they did. I'm going to answer that for you in a minute. I want to get the first thing out of the way, and it's the major point of contention when people talk about this. Everyone looks at what happened when Disney bought Power Rangers. Yeah, the series got run through the ringer and into the dirt, and right now it's in its last season. Disney's canceled it. There's no more toys coming out, maybe after a few Legends and Retrofire stuff. But nothing substantial, and certainly nothing based on the Sentai series. The difference is, Disney had its own production company. They bought the Power Ranger franchise, not the production company that went with it. Power Rangers had its own brand of production company. That's where all the stunt actors came from, that's where the choreography came from, everything. They ditched it, they put in their own people, which is why these series suck compared to everything we're used to, the ones who grew up with the original Rangers. Now, to be fair, it's been going downhill well before Disney bought the Rangers. So it's really not fair to pin the failure on them. I mean, right now, the ratings for RPM are the worst they've ever been since Wild Force, which was the last one Fox did. So the series, it's been going downhill a long time. They just found a way of making it profitable for a little while longer. So it was already in the crapper. You can't blame it all on Disney. And that being said, that was, like I said, it was because they had their own production company, they had their own crews, their own writers, their own producers, their own directors. All of that became Disney created. Disney doesn't have a comic book division. They don't have anyone to replace everyone at Marvel. And when they bought Marvel, they didn't just buy the franchise. They bought the whole thing, lock, stock, and barrel. I mean, the characters all go, the writers go, the editors go, the colors go, the inkers go. Everything. I mean, the one thing that might change is Stan Lee might have a Mickey Mouse mug come Tuesday morning. And that's it. That's the only thing that might change. Simply put, Disney doesn't have the people they need to have a comic book company, or they would have had a comic book company. It's Disney. Of course they would have. No, they're just like anyone else. They franchise their stuff out to other comic book writers and creators to do themselves. And now, they have Marvel. That is their comic book company now. It's the same reason they bought Jim Henson and the Muppets. They didn't have puppets and Muppets back of their own. So they bought their own. Now that's their puppet company. Okay, so they didn't have anything to replace anything with. It is its own being. And then there is the people worried about it getting dumbed down. The violence, the serious storylines, and all the more serious characters. Yep, move that aside too. For several reasons. Number one, comic books aren't really marketed to kids anymore, so it wouldn't get dumbed down. I mean, have you taken a look? Marvel Comics cost $4 a pop these days. That's not a kid's price. That's a collector's price. I mean, it's mostly toys and movies and video games that keep the kids involved. And even Marvel understands now that the comic books are created for the collector's market, which is the majority of their comic book sales these days. I mean, it's the people my age, your age, the people that have that kind of money to blow on comic books and ongoing storylines. It's not something for kids anymore. And after that, everyone's freaking out. Oh, but it's owned by Mickey Mouse. I mean, they're gonna kiddify it up, and they're take out the violence, and Spider-Man's gonna go back to, okay, he's never gonna throw a punch again. He's just gonna tie up his villains, and it's gonna be, oh, nice, thank you, officer. No, and I'll give you a little hint. Do you know who else Disney owns? The little movie company called Miramax. Now, Miramax, I could cite a lot of movies that have nothing to do with kid-friendly. And you got things like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, Clerks 2. They have movies under their belt with names like Kinky Boots. Yeah, that's a family-friendly movie. But the one I'll point out specifically is Kill Bill. Miramax produced Kill Bill. Kill Bill is a Disney movie. No matter what it looks like, that's the bare fact. Disney owns Miramax. Miramax creates Kill Bill. It's a Disney movie. The same way anything now is going to be a Disney comic book. It's not going to have a big mouse stamped on the front. It's just going to be known and accepted. They're just owned by Disney now. So really there's no reason to think it is going to get dumbed down. I mean, there's no precedence for it. I mean Disney does produce things like, even like, I could even example Chronicles of Narnia, that's got some pretty violent scenes in it. I mean, and it's more on par with the things Marvel's doing these days. So I don't think you have to worry about it getting dumbed down. I mean, if you really want to freak out about it when it happens. Okay? Don't ever want to start canceling subscriptions and start throwing your X-Force and Punisher comic books in the garbage. Because there is no proof or evidence that that's going to change. I mean, above all, Disney's good at business. And it's just bad for business to change what makes him popular. So that, I am totally certain, is not going to change. And you have to stop freaking out about it, because you look goofy, doomsaying all over the place without a shred of evidence or proof behind it. And really, I think people are forgetting that there's a flip side here. And it's not just, oh, well, we're going to see Mickey Mouse and Spider-Man tights, and they might do that as like a comical drawing, but they're not going to make a whole series out of it. There are a few possibilities that people are overlooking that might actually work. I mean, if you see any Marvel character interacting with a Disney character, it might be something like, Who Knows Spider-Ham. And, that strikes me as a Disney idea that, maybe Disney might do something with. It'd be hilarious. We're not, you're not going to see Mickey Mouse web-swinging with Spider-Man. You're not going to see that. You're not going to see Donald Duck and Wolverine palling around. Likewise, you're not going to see Howard the Duck and Darkwing Duck duke it out. Actually, someone get to work on that, because that could be really freaking awesome. But there's a few you're completely forgetting about. Let's see, Disney also owns Tron. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing a Tron comic book, especially with a new movie coming out. There are franchises like Darkwing Duck that I would like to see more of. I'd like to see it in a place where it could get a more drawn-out storyline than just 22 minutes on TV. See, there are other things like Pirates of the Caribbean. I mean, if you ever wanted your own Jack Sparrow comic book series, which would almost be like the current run of Deadpool, where Deadpool's pretending to be a pirate. It'd probably run in the same veins of that, and it might actually be really funny and well done. And then there's the one. There is one that makes this entire crossover thing, this entire purchase, really, it might just make it good. And that will be Gargoyles. Everyone forgets that that's a Disney franchise. And it's one of the better cartoons in the last 15, 20 years. It was phenomenal. And they've tried twice now for an independent comic book to be created to continue the series, and it's never gone anywhere. And that's really unfortunate, because the characters and the writing were so good, and the ending just felt rushed. It felt like they had a lot more in mind, and if you look up, they did. They had whole seasons planned out, and like dozens of crossovers and spin-offs that they never got to do. And now we have an ongoing comic book that might, or at least a possibility for one, that might let it happen. Marvel has the potential and the publishing power to bring back franchises like that. And there's even more that they could do. I mean, yeah, Marvel's got so many deals with video game companies and such. We could see good Disney video games for a change. That might be nice. And, okay, action figure deals. Okay. I mean, we might actually get good Disney toys for the people who want to see those. It just seems like a lot of people are jumping the gun. And especially for you Power Ranger people who claim, well, that's evidence that Disney's going to ruin Marvel. Like I said, Disney doesn't have anyone that could replace anybody doing Marvel Comics right now. Which means Disney can't take over Marvel. They can't replace anybody because they don't have those people. And for the Power Ranger people, Marvel Comics might now control a bit of the Power Ranger brand. Have you ever thought of that? With no series coming out and and only retro toys being produced for Power Rangers for the foreseeable future, an ongoing comic bringing back the original status quo and maybe the characters even, that just might bring the franchise around, and it might put the franchise in a place where it needs to be again. Didn't think of that, did you? No? There's so much potential here. I mean, I am looking at this from a very positive perspective. Like I said, it'd be very bad for business if Disney changed anything about Marvel. I mean, right now Marvel has never been more successful between all the movies and video games that they've been doing, and while I would like to personally see Joe Quesada beaten with a stick for screwing up Mary Jane and Spider-Man, Marvel's doing fairly well right now. Keep in mind, they were in bankruptcy already, and now they just sold for $4 billion. You know they're at their height of success. And to partner with a company as big as Disney, it's only going to get bigger. I mean, right now, you have to be watching some really obscure digital cable channel in order to see the new Iron Man cartoon, which is actually pretty good, and to see the current Spider-Man cartoon, which is the best cartoon I've seen in the last 10 years. I mean, it's up there with Avatar in quality. Absolutely phenomenal series. It might not get another season because it's in obscurity right now, because it can't get on any decent channel anymore. But odds are you get Disney Channel. If they pack that full of Marvel cartoons one of these days, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be so happy. There's so much here that could be good for Marvel that I think people are letting paranoia get the better of them. So I'm really looking forward to this. I don't think it's as doom and gloom as everyone thinks of. I really think it's going to be left as autonomous as possible, similar to Pixar. Pixar does phenomenal work because Disney doesn't poke their nose into it all the time. So there's so much evidence and presence here for this to be good. And I hope that a few of you who have taken a moment to see this video maybe see that a little bit more now. So, cross your fingers, hope for the best. I think Marvel's going to be all the better for this eventually. But for right now, it's going to be pretty much business as usual. Because right now business is good, and Disney, above all, is all about business. I don't think anyone has any reason to panic. So everyone just calm down, wait it out, and we'll all find out together.